I didn't think we'd still be here. You know, I thought by now we would have a Fantastic Four. And I know what you're thinking. We still don't have a Fantastic Four. Then why are you making a video about Fantastic Four casting? Well, it's because today specifically, which today being yesterday, Thursday, August 3rd, 2023, we got a lot of news. Some of it is somewhat official, like somewhat, I think, confirms some things we thought. Some doesn't confirm anyone, but does give you an idea of what it seems like they're looking for. And just the idea of this, I think this is the biggest day so far since that one day when all those people got cast and then they all, I guess, left. So I just want to go through this because I am the guy for this now. And I like that. I think that's fun. So we're going to start with the easy one, and this is Sue Storm. One of the things we learned about Sue today is that she is apparently going to be the main character of this movie. I think that's genius. I think that's really smart. And maybe that came with offering it to an actor who said yes. And then that was part of the thing. It was like, you know, we'll make you the main character. Not that I think they're lying, but I do think it seems like this script is being rewritten to some extent. And I think, you know, depending on which actor is in which role, maybe it does make sense to focus a story around a specific actor who is, say, more experienced or, you know, has maybe a vision for what this character is going to be doing. I don't know. But Sue is, we talked about this in the Patreon live stream today. Sue's been relatively, like, I wouldn't say she's been poorly defined because that's not it. In the movies, I'd say that's the case. And specifically, I'm talking about the one from 2005 or whatever, Rise of the Silver Surfer after that, and then Fan4Stick. I've never watched the Roger Corman one. I've seen the bits and pieces that, you know, everybody's seen, but I never watched the movie. But in those adaptations, even though at the time Jessica Alba was like the most famous member of that cast, I think the bigger personalities between Reed, Johnny, and Ben do tend to crowd out Sue. And she'll have moments, she has like a character, but I guess that character never gets to have like that many wants or likes. Besides, she wants Johnny and Ben to get along, and she wants Reed to be happy and stuff. But I think there's more to that character. You know, she's a scientist, she's an explorer, she's a spy, she's been obviously a mother, wife, daughter, like sister. She's been so many things in the comics and related to so many characters. And then obviously she also has the thing with Namor that I love that, you know, who knows if we'll ever see that. But this idea that like by focusing the movie on her, we will force kind of the writers of the movie to make some decisions about Sue Storm. I think that's great. And to be fair, she could be the main character and they could still not make any decisions about Sue Storm. But at least this shows that this is something they're thinking about. And on that topic, the actor who has been floated and it seems to be coming up pretty consistently for the Sue Storm is Vanessa Kirby from Mission Impossible 6 and 7. And from Hobbs and Shaw, The Crown, and stuff like that. She is, I think, a really solid Sue Storm. She was in my casting lineup of Sues. I think she's in the perfect spot, like age-wise. She's in her 30s, so she could do this for a little while. She's got that kind of prestige in terms of she's in big projects, clearly can handle herself there. Clearly doesn't like lose focus when a big star comes on screen. And she has a presence. But on the other side, she's not the biggest star on the earth. She's not going to command $1 bazillion. So I think she's perfect for what they're looking for. And I do think she's genuinely a good actor, and I think she could be fun. I think Margot Robbie, I think, is great. She's a really good performer. I do think she's getting to the point where I think putting her in this role maybe would feel a little bit like, not like Harley Quinn in this role, but like Margot Robbie in this role, Barbie in this role. Like she has played some pretty iconic characters and really, really, really well, but to the point where I don't know how much she could disappear into this character. Whereas I could see this being Vanessa Kirby's like thing, and that's awesome. I'm very excited for that. So really good. If that's true, and this, like I said, this seems to be coming up a lot. If that's true, fantastic. Let's talk about the reads. We got 3 reads that have been coming up this week. One is brand new, one we've been talking about for a couple of days, and one has been hanging around for a while. One's been hanging around for a while. Apparently, Adam Driver is still part of this. It seems like he was not going to do it, and I am still pretty curious about that, but apparently he's still in the running. Like at this point, either he has the role or he doesn't. I don't understand. Like maybe it's he hasn't chosen yet, and then these other 2 are alternates, but it seems like they want him to do it. He's definitely the highest profile actor of these 3, so I don't know. I'm curious what the holdup is with him specifically, especially because he was one of the actors, the only one left, who was rumored to be part of that original team. And now, you know, Margot Robbie's gone, Paul Mescal's gone, and Daveed Diggs we'll get to, but like Adam Driver's sticking around. So the idea that he is not out of contention, but he also doesn't have the role, it's like, is it a money thing? Maybe that's it. That was at some point, people were saying that was what was holding them back. So interesting. It seems like Matt Smith was offered the role, but then someone said, another scooper who seems somewhat legitimate said he's actually not been offered the role. He's just part in the running. If you know Matt Smith, obviously is from like Doctor Who, House of the Dragon, Dr. Michael Morbius at Your Service, Last Night in Soho, Terminator, Genesis, I think. Like he's done a lot of things. If you look at his IMDb page, it's like 75% Doctor Who spinoffs and stuff like that. You know, and he's also on, speaking of Vanessa Kirby, The Crown. He's also on The Crown with her. I think he is an interesting read. I'm not psyched about him. And I've seen people online say, my God, just watch something that's not Morbius before you decide. I watched Last Night in Soho, I watched House of the Dragon, and I watched Morbius. And that's what he's doing today, right? Like, say what you will about Doctor Who, and I do understand he does have a different energy. He's kind of nerdier. He's less aggressive than he is in some of these other movies. However, that was what he was doing, 10 years ago. He has kind of settled into this role of, it seems like villain. Now, I'm not going to say that he is, like, you can't be a villain and then obviously you could play whoever you want. But I just think I don't know, he doesn't strike me as Reed. Also, he has a very, like, interesting face. That's not saying anything bad about him, because I think, obviously, he's still, like, a movie star and still handsome and stuff like that. But I do think Reed has the most boringly handsome, like, plain old American man face you can have. And I think Matt Smith and to some extent Adam Driver just don't have that. And I don't think that's a complete knock against them, but it's just like another reason why it's like, interesting that you're in the running now. And also he's British and like, that's interesting too. But then the third actor who's apparently in the running for Reed, Dev Patel, which like, yes, please. He's immediately my favorite out of these three. In my video, I had him as one of my Johnnies because I think he could do that rather well. But if the age we're looking for is like mid to late 30s, which I believe is where Dev Patel and Vanessa Kirby are, then yeah, sure, he could be a good read. I think he's got a good mix of like sinister, clever, smart, like he's very charming. I do think it would be interesting to see him take on a role like this because this is just not what he's known for. Saw an interview floating around today from a while ago where he says like, I don't do movies with green screens. The last time I did one of those, it was Avatar, The Last Airbender. So like that didn't go great. And I would understand that, but maybe they showed him a giant pile of money and a nice script and he's interested. Right now, out of the three, Adam Driver, Dev Patel, Matt Smith, I want Dev Patel. And nothing against Matt Smith or Adam Driver as actors or even as like fits for this. Just like for me, I'm a huge Dev Patel fan. So I think that's pretty cool. That's your reads. Not a ton of new information there. Let's look at the Johnnies. According to some of this casting, we have other Johnnies that are now in contention. We've gone through several. Paul Mescal was obviously the one who it seems like was offered the role. He had originally declined, and then they said he took it, and now he said he declined again, and he doesn't seem to be talked about in these conversations. So then we did Rudy Packnow. I'm not sure where he is. He hasn't come up in these conversations for a while. Then today, scoopers were saying it's Jack Quaid. My Adventures with Superman, The Boys, Scream, all that stuff. I said, oh, Jack Quaid is Johnny Storm. And I said, that is not what I expected, but I'm kind of loving it. Like the idea that an actor like Jack Quaid, who's good and very, very talented, but does seem to play characters who are usually have like an everyman energy, even as Superman is kind of like, whoa, what's going on here? This is crazy. Johnny should be confident, hot-headed, right? He's got a lot of charisma. Not to say that Jack Quaid doesn't, but the idea is, I think he feels like the character that would hang out with Johnny. He is that to Carl Urban on The Boys. He's that to Lois on Superman. So the fact that it seemed like he had this role, I was like, yes, that sounds like a kind of casting where it's like a good actor in a role you wouldn't expect, but they must have an idea. Like this must mean something. And I guess, and the difference between that and Matt Smith, I guess, is Matt Smith has always been floating around as one of those names. And I think we've had enough time to think about him. But with this is the first time I've heard of him in contention at all. And I was like, wow, that's wild. And then almost immediately that scooper went, oops, I didn't mean Jack Quaid. I meant Joseph Quinn. Now, I'm assuming this was just like autocorrect or something, like that level of error, because their names are similar and they're similar kinds of guys. Like they're both probably around the same age. I think they play different characters and stuff, but like I could see either of them being Johnny Storm. Now, Joseph Quinn is 30. He played Eddie Munson on Stranger Things. That's what he's most known for. He is a fine Johnny, more kind of what I'd expect. He doesn't play a cool kid in high school in that show in the like conventional cool kid sense, but he plays a kid who's like a leader who has charisma. I can see that energy being kind of mushed around and turned into something a little bit more contemporary. and him being a good Johnny. We put him a couple years younger than Vanessa Kirby, but still in the range you'd figure for a sister and brother. So I like that. I don't think there's been a Johnny I didn't like. I think they're all okay. Then we got our things. Now, thing is weird because no new actor is brought up here, but we did get qualifications for what they're looking for, and that does preclude another actor. So originally, Daveed Diggs, Hamilton's own, Kimmy Schmidt's own, Snowpiercer's own, Daveed Diggs was going to be Ben Grimm, aka The Thing, and I thought that was genius because he is not only a talented actor with a solid voice. I feel like he could do a Ben Grimm voice pretty well. He is also half Jewish, so you're able to maintain that part of the character's legacy, which I think is very important. And yeah, if you have him on the team, they're not all white, which is nice. I don't think that's like a humongous thing for the Fantastic Four. But I do think that is like cool. If you're representing 4 characters from New York City today and they're all white, it's like, I don't know, man. That's those people exist, but also it's definitely a more diverse population than it was in the 60s when these books were made. So I don't know. I like I said, I don't have super strong feelings there, but it also felt like, okay, that's a pick. He doesn't seem to be in the running anymore because apparently what they're looking for is a fat white guy. That is not my words. Those are the words of the scooper, in quotes, fat white guy. I don't even know who that is anymore. Is that code for Seth Rogen or something? I don't know. Because like we have, I'm going to use the word big. You have big white guys in movies and TV shows. But I think that's a strange pick for one reason. Is just that's not usually how the Thing looks. Like, yes, obviously as the Thing, he's like a big thing, like a big guy. But the Thing is kind of an extension of what Ben Grimm usually looks like, which is like he's wide. He's kind of built like a football player. He was in the army. I believe he fought in like whatever Marvel Comics version of Vietnam has been retconned to be. He was a pilot for the Air Force, and then sometimes he's an astronaut. So it's like, I'm not saying a big white guy, let's just say big guy. I'm not saying a big guy can't do those things, but I am, especially with astronauts. It's like, that's a specific type of guy. They all look the same body type. So the fact that they're going for that, I think is interesting. Now, and some people were saying, as a bigger person themselves, they always like associated themselves with Ben, and they appreciated Ben for that reason. So like they like seeing themselves in Ben in that way. I think that's fine. I guess it just makes me go like, well, what are we gonna do for flashbacks then? Is he just not going to be an astronaut or a fighter pilot? Or are we just going to pretend like what does this mean about Ben Grimm now? You can change that job, I guess. You can have him steal the rocket, but I just, it's a little strange. I don't think there's anything super wrong with that. I do think it's weird that they singled out white guy there as like a qualification there. If they had said fat, Jewish guy, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that's like the Jewish thing. That's true to the character's legacy, so I respect that. But whatever. So that means Daveed is probably out. But that also takes Eben Moss-Backrack out of the equation. And I have been convinced over the last couple of weeks that he is probably, if we're not doing Daveed Diggs, he's our best Ben. He's got the energy. He can do the kind of New York tough. Like, I guess the question with the Ben is just kind of picture it. Picture them yelling, "It's clobbering time" before punching you. Like, will that actor do that? Not like, will they do it, but like, does that seem natural? And I think, yeah, with him, it does. And with Daveed, I think it did. Seth Rogen, maybe, like they're different. Everybody's different. But apparently he is out of the running for that part. Maybe in the running for Silver Surfer, which I think is weird. No, it's because I don't think he's a bad actor, but I just don't think that's the energy he's given off so far. And the things I've seen him in, which are a couple of things, I've seen him in Punisher, Andor, The Bear. Like, he plays a very down-to-earth guy, like salt of the earth dude. And, like I can't imagine. I think we got lucky with both of the live action Silver Surfers, be it the Doug Jones Silver Surfer, like his voice in general would work, and then the Lawrence Fishburne dub over Silver Surfer also worked, where like if he sounds like a guy from New York or Chicago or whatever, that, I don't know, that's gonna be a little weird. I don't know. I'll let him. I'll see what they're doing with this thing. But I think this one's tricky, and this is going to be a tough one for them to figure out. I think it's definitely the hardest one to cast in this group, although I do think they've had good options. Like, obviously, I love Alvin Ehrenreich. I think that Daveed Diggs is good, and I think that Eben is good. But then, if it's none of those, because none of those fit that description of fat white guy, who's left? You know, Seth Rogen, I guess. Jason Segel, I guess. Like, Jesse Plemons lost a bunch of weight. I don't even know if he counts anymore. So, like, that, it just, I don't know. So, you know, that part kind of worries me. The only other part of casting that we got from this, well, let's say two parts. One, no Doom still. Not even any interest in him. Maybe he's not in this movie at all, which seems like a bummer, because I just really like that character. People that know him like him. And obviously, casting him is going to be a nightmare, because you want to find a Romani actor, but on the other side, like, there's maybe, you know, two actors in that age range, and I don't think either of them, I don't think they're bad actors, but I don't think, like, I think Doctor Doom needs to be the best, one of the best actors in the MCU. Like, that part requires a lot of nuance and pathos, and just having an actor there who isn't particularly, you know, tested in this big, like, I guess I'm saying our Doom needs to have an Oscar nomination, or I'm not even really, like, I'm not considering them at this point, and that there no such actor exists. Like, I do think their casting agents just, it's really hard. I don't think they will be Romani in the movie. Like, I think Disney, Marvel will cast an actor who is Eastern European or something, some form of European, and they will get in some trouble for it, and they will just kind of keep their head down, and maybe they'll get away with it. But I do think that that means that the pick that I'm still sticking with, that I made in my video, he's one of the only actors here that has not been disqualified. Like, he could reasonably still do this, is my Doom, Jamie Dornan. I'm not saying I think he should do it, but I do think, I feel like that might happen. Cillian Murphy's the other one who this week was asked, would you like to be Dr. Doom? And he's like, I don't know, show me the script, we'll see. But that wasn't a no. Cillian Murphy, obviously very, very, very talented actor. Like, this is what I'm talking about in terms of the prestige I think we need for Doom. But then the other thing that we may have learned about this, and I'm not a humongous fan of the idea of having Galactus be the main villain in your first Fantastic Four movie. Maybe he's like Thanos in Guardians 1, where he is in the background, and clearly everybody that's causing trouble is related to him in some way, but they are like, he's not going up and, you know, talking to the Fantastic Four outside of maybe a brief interaction with Reed. I think, you know, I would love to start with a Mole Man or something. That's just me. Even an Annihilus, I think, would be a step below Galactus. But, like, if Galactus throws Terrax or Firelord or a Herald at them, maybe Silver Surfer, although apparently Ebon Moss-Backrack's in that. And listen, if we can't get him in anything but Silver Surfer, sure. But then you've got Galactus. Now, according to the casting rumors that came out, is being played by, I believe, a Hispanic actor, which I think, if we didn't know that Antonio Banderas was the main guy that's being, you know, apparently courted for this role, and it seems like he might have it. Like, if that was not known, I would be like, is that all they've got right now? They're just looking through the Hispanic actor Rolodex, seeing who's got Galactus material. But I wonder if this person doesn't want to commit to it, but wanted to say, listen, it's who you think it is. Because, you know, I think Antonio Banderas, I love Antonio Banderas, and I think that will be fun. I liked him in the Indiana Jones movie. I think he was maybe one of my favorite parts of it. But I don't love that Galactus is here in general. But that was the other bit of casting news. I guess, like, in conclusion, it really is wild that we don't have a Fantastic Four yet. And I only feel confident about Vanessa Kirby. And even that, I'd say is maybe 75-25 positive. Like, that is going to happen. But I could totally see another 25% where it just breaks down. But, like, that movie comes out in 2025, and obviously writers and actors strike. And, you know, I'm hoping, there seems to be talks that I would love it if they could settle this whole strike in a way that's fair to the writers and actors. And I guess as the studio executives. But this idea that, like, Superman and Fantastic Four come out around the same time, Superman is being cast to the point where we're getting minor characters are being cast, Metamorpho, you know, a Green Lantern who shouldn't really matter to the story, yet our Fantastic Four is still up in the air. Like, all four members, basically. It's a little weird. Like, it's fine. Take your time. Get the right actors. Get people with good chemistry. If this was the team, Adam Driver, let's say, because I do think he's probably in the driver's seat here. Adam Driver, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and then I don't know. I don't want Seth Rogen. He's too specific of a guy. I cannot see him disappearing into this character but then just letting out a laugh and you're like, right, that's Seth Rogen. I don't know. That just, for me, I don't want to say it breaks the immersion or anything like that. Like, it's like I could still enjoy the movie. I don't know. It doesn't feel quite right. But that is our Fantastic Four update. That is information. All this is stuff we're just dealing with today. We'll see where this goes. I kind of think, this is a prediction, I guess a lot of this depends on the strike and what can and cannot be. Because even today, there were also like rumors that a Wonder Woman movie is in development, and it seemed like that was not going to happen, and now it seems like it might. And I just, that interview was pretty old, so the idea that is being reported today as news makes me a little suspicious. But also, like, stars can't talk about stuff like this. I don't think they can sign deals like this, or if they can, I don't think the studios can publicize it. Like, it is something where the actor strike seems to have derailed anything but speculation. And I do think if they get 4 guys and they really want to get the word out, we'll find out. But I guess I don't think by the end of August, if the strike is still going, we'll have any formal announcement. But I think if by the end of August the strike is over, which would be fantastic, settled in a way that is fair to everybody. If that's true, I think we will get an announcement of a Fantastic Four by the end of September. Maybe, New York Comic Con in October. They don't usually do like movie stuff there, but maybe that. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, that's the end. Thank you for watching this. That is your weekly or monthly Fantastic Four. Hey, everybody shifted musical chairs around, and some of the people took their chairs and left, and some people are in chairs that probably should be different chairs, but hey, that's just what they're giving us today. And a lot of this comes from conversations we had in the Patreon live stream and on the Discord. If you're not on the NW Movies Discord, get over there because it's great. And that's all I got. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.